It's Wellness Wednesday. It's Wellness Wednesday, and I am not well this Wednesday. When you see the Galactus shirt, you know shit's going down. You'll see my face is puffy here. I look like I'm a motion capture actress before refinement. The camera's here. Yeah, I ate zucchini yesterday. I can't eat. Oh, it's not feeling good at all, guys. I'm not feeling good. But so the original content I wanted to do this week again. I have to push again. Poor Song. Song helped me out with this, and I've had to push it so much. But I'm here. I'm recording something. Holy fuck. I don't know what's gonna be with content next week because next week's Passover, and Monday and Tuesday are the first nights of it. I'll try to get things pre-recorded, but so that's enough. And I'm late on a Kickstarter update. Backers there. I'm still trying to figure out how to word certain things because one of the issues I've been having is that for some reason, and I don't know if they're even putting it together, but we've had a problem with a couple of the higher level backers who, you know, one of the things they can do is contribute storylines to the game. And I've had to cut off contact with them because, you know, one of them insists I'm going to hell because I'm Jewish. Another one said that he basically hand waved away the fact that a certain group of people were actively conspiring to try to get me to unalive, but that's fine because they really didn't have the power to do it. And at that point, it's just no, I have to put my health in front of, you know, an agreement I made involving a game. You know, I never, from the beginning, we said that everything was subject to whether it's appropriate for the game. People couldn't just do whatever they wanted. But that's still been, I hate, and it's not really breaking an agreement. I keep telling myself that, but I like to deliver what I promised. And holy shit, it's been tough. And that's, you know, all these freakouts in fandom have been really, really getting me down. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you like this content, help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/Leanna K, or buy a one-time Leanna Care session for someone who can use but can't afford it, coffee.com/Leanna K. The patrons, we got a few people on the Discord this month from Patreon. Yay, welcome. And you guys were super generous on coffee last week. If we can make this next goal, I will have made up the income I lost from the Doom weeks. Some of you may go, holy crap, that's a lot of income for a day and a half. Yeah, that's why I was so stressed. It's shitty that we have these technologies that we rely on, and when they don't work, we don't work. And you know, they'll take a few dollars off our bill for the day and a half of service, but there's absolutely no compensation for the business we lost. And then, you know, of course, there's going to be a gap next week as well because of Passover. Fuck me. Yeah, I want to talk about this relationship because I had a very nuanced conversation with somebody because I made a comment that, you know, IPs, fandoms, properties, I'm so sick of IP as identity, she says, wearing a Galactus shirt. And somebody saw themselves in that, and I said to them, no, you're these IPs aren't your identity. These IPs are more of a relationship. And okay, that makes sense to me. Seeing yourself in a character, helping it gives you a language for an experience you've had. All that stuff's totally fine, in moderation. And being really connected to people through a fandom, that's a great way to make friends. One of the real shitty things about, Harry Potter going the way it did is it has really divided the fandom. It's not, very few people who are Potter fans defend what J.K. Rowling is going full Death Eater on trans people. The division is what to do about it. And, friendships have been lost over this. And friendships have been lost over, digital butts. And that, I've been watching the whole Warhammer 40K thing with, the Adeptus Custodes, and there have always been women. And I took that tweet as, what is it? Kayfabe? Is that kayfabe? The wrestling? I'm bad at that. But I just saw that in, Warhammer voice, declaration from the Imperium. But people flipped out. And on the one hand, yes, of course they were going to. On the other, I've really never known Games Workshop or the Black Library to terribly care if people are upset. The number of books that ship late and stuff like that, it just, they've never been a really consumer friendly company. And so I do think there are some pretend Warhammer diehards coming back. About, if anybody's interested in my opinion, not that it terribly matters. I think that even though, yes, the source material clearly says sons, I can see in, an empire that big, a few people pulling a Mulan, and, the emperor going, as long as you're a good fighter, fine, just say nothing. Because you don't see a lot of the custodians anyway. They're the emperor's personal guard. So I still think the Sisters of Battle have the coolest outfits. And I really hope this isn't a pivot to streamlining it so that there are fewer types of costumes to make for the Amazon Warhammer series. Because, the Sisters of Battle and Sisters of Silence are cool as shit. Sisters of Battle, I think, is one of the coolest outfits in all of Warhammer 40K. So that's my opinion on that. But like many other things, am I going to get upset even if people don't agree? No, it's fiction. Is it fiction that I think is really super cool? Yeah, like Nurgle and Slaanesh. It's just a cool world, right? It's cool, but I'm not gonna lose friendships over it. And I really like the Fallout series, and I saw somebody I know who I really like complaining about plot holes. I don't agree there's massive plot holes in the series. There are so many unanswered questions, we can't say what's a plot hole or not right now. But am I going to fight with the guy about it? No, of course not. People are allowed to have their thoughts. I mean, one of the things that's very cool about about the Fallout show is that they've built a character in Lucy, the Ella Purnell character, who is basically built to be a Mary Sue. She's highly charismatic. She's got that luck score going on. She's clearly got the daddy's girl perk. And I've seen people rate her as a 5 in luck, but luck's a weird one in Fallout. It works slightly different in every game, but the fact that so many characters use the word lucky in response to her, but they definitely declared all her specializations right off the top and hints to the perks, and that Maximus's dump stats being things like charisma. I mean, he fails a barter by 1 cap. It's they clearly made this show with love. And to me, that's what's important. Not do they interpret everything from Fallout the way I did? Do they put all of my favorite types of characters in the first season? No, I don't care about that. But I already went through Fallout's not for you, Grandma, back in Fallout 3. The fans of Fallout 3 were super shitty to us old-timers who played the first 2 games and were bummed at the shift in tone. That it was much more serious as opposed to the very silly elements of the first 2 games that personally I really liked. Now, whether they were intended to be that silly or you can check out my Twitch stream from last night. I streamed the original Fallout so that people could see what it's like. 'Cause I still love those first 2 games. I love them. They were fun. They're something like, the original game is something like 542 megabytes, which is just mind-blowing now. But, it's cool that people are discovering Fallout. I don't feel the need to gatekeep it. And I'm falling off of Star Wars, which is something I grew up with. But again, I already went through the shut up, you're old regarding the prequels that, I didn't like because I enjoyed the more spread out Han, Luke, Leia format as opposed to everything surrounding Anakin. And I didn't like the dark turn. I didn't like the shinier, cleaner ships, right? I liked gritty, kind of rust bucket Star Wars. But no, this is for us. You don't get it. You don't get what young people like. So I've already been through multiple cycles of the stuff that is causing people agony. And the thing that's really ironic is that the people agonizing right now are in that same age cohort as the ones who are like, sit down, Grandma, this is our Fallout now. The cycles turn. And I think that perspective is important to talk about because, I remember when the original when the episode 1 came out and George Lucas was insistent that no, he knew what the younger people liked, and Star Wars was always panned by the critics, and he always got shit for that character that was for, children 6 and under. And that's true. I love the Ewoks. People were shitty to the Ewoks. And so he kind of hand-waved away all the criticism of characters like Jar Jar Binks that I don't think Jar Jar ever quite caught they had to redeem the actor of Jar Jar in some Disney Plus series, not the character. But, some kids liked the Gungans and thought they were funny. And, there seems to be a bit more of a pivot back to the original series with, the focus on the original cast with the sequels. That I think that if they had focused more intensely on them and slowly introduced the new characters and made sure Finn had more to do, they would have been better received. But that was a victim of the development process of the handoffs and not having a grand plan. And I didn't love the sequels. I still love the original movies, and I still watch, Attack of the Clones, as terrible as that movie is, every year while I'm making, winter holiday dinner, Christmas dinner. It's so bad, but it's almost so bad it's good. Almost. I'm dying. It's so terrible. But I'm sure some people who grew up with that movie like, no, it's good. And no, I'm never going to think it's not terrible. But it's okay if somebody else likes it. There's things I enjoy that other people think are terrible, But I have been really bothered by what I consider unfair attacks on Alan Wake 2 because they used Sweet Baby Incorporated as a consultant. And one, because it's criticisms by people that hadn't played the game. Two, this is a company that spent 13 years trying to get this sequel made, buying back the rights, changing a bunch of characters from other IPs because they don't have the rights to Quantum Break. They're probably never going to get them back from Microsoft. They got Alan Wake back. They got Control back. They had to spend a lot of money to get those IPs back. And, they finally made this game after 13 years of trying. And people actually think that they're going to just throw away the game they want to make a political point. Because, Saga Anderson was race swapped. Well, the white Saga Anderson appeared in Quantum Break initially. And the other two characters that were ported over from Quantum Break, they had to change their names. Mr. Hatch became Mr. Dorr. Sean Ashmore's character became Tim Breaker. The name Saga Anderson is essential. So they had to change something else so it wasn't the same character. That's not a woke conspiracy. That's that's business. That's, we want to get it made. We have to compromise something. And there's story reasons for Saga's race, but if somebody just plays the game and go, that game's shit, I'm going to think they have taste up the ass, but I'm not going to stop talking to them. I don't like that people are shitting on a game they haven't played or watched a Let's Play of or anything. They just see something online and they want to shit on it. But that's not an attachment to the IP because, I don't care that people think God of War Ragnarok is woke. If you want to, I hate using that term. When I say woke, it's ironic. Okay. But I don't care. If you want to give up that franchise, more for me, I just put myself in Remedy's place because making games is really fucking hard. And for people to think that anybody would just make a point doesn't understand how soul-breaking game dev is. But that has nothing to do with the IP. Things like, God, I'm trying to think of all the things that have been remade that weren't so great. The new Trek, I just keep trying. I can't. It's just not what I liked about the original series and Next Generation. There was something else that came out, and it's just, Oh, Saints Row. The Saints Row revamp. And I'm not the only one there, but am I screaming and yelling that they ruined Saints Row? Even though in that case, they kind of ruined Saints Row. No. I enjoyed, 2, 3, and 4. That didn't get taken away from me. These franchises are not my identity Even though my inner voice is Kratos, even with that's just me doing a shorthand to let people know, I can get gruff and only semi-verbal. That's just me. Don't take it personally, right? Try not to. It's not personal. I'm not angry. I'm just sometimes the words just aren't there. But the popularity of the stuff I like doesn't define me, and I don't feel like more of a person or less of a person because other people agree that the stuff I like is good. And I mean, I have been really being pointed. I talked about this on Monday, so I won't belabor it here, but the whole Star Wars Outlaws thing, and she's ugly. That one, that I just find, that's one of those ones where there are better ways to make the valid point that's at the core of it there. And it is very interesting that these mainly men don't realize that as they're running around constantly talking about the problems with emasculating men, that's the female equivalent. She's ugly. Ugly. You're ugly. I mean, what did Hassan Piker go after with me? My unfuckability. I'm a femcel. Like, it's stupid. It's stupid. Characters aren't required to be pretty. Nobody needs Deadpool to be hot, right? The Gears of War guys, nobody needed them to be hot. Part of the reason they were so lovable is they were all scarred up and kind of pug ugly, right? And this offense that a female, it's ugly. Like, what's wrong with you? What, like, really, that's a serious question. And the fact that instead of going, yeah, you're right, that's an overstatement, it just looks off. It's a technology thing. Again, nobody's going to pay for a very expensive license like Star Wars and go, we're going to make a political point. It just doesn't make any sense. But people's identities are so wrapped up in something there that they don't make a salient point. They make a point that's easily refuted. And I do think they are treating these IPs and these IPs being popular as their identity. And this was something that Xbox really cultivated during the Xbox 360 era when they were, going neck and neck with PlayStation, pulling slightly ahead in some areas, that they were the new cool gamers and shut up nerds. We're not like that. We're the bro gamers, right? And it became this, Xbox really sold identity with the Xbox instead of community or relationship with an IP, whereas Sony was still marching its own race going, play, create, share, right? Which is much more community language. And the issue with putting your identity in something external is that it can be taken from you. It's not firm. It's not something you can control. The popularity of something is not something you can control. Remember how dominant Halo used to be? Remember Call of Duty? Like, one rises, another rises. Now it's Fortnite, all that stuff. They come, they go. They're not dominant forever. And if you're hinging your identity, if you're making the centering of a piece of fiction something that you're using to measure what the world thinks of you, Even though they don't know you, they're not talking about you. They're talking about Halo or God of War or Horizon or whatever. It's very precarious. And that's not something that we, in the mental health space really recommend. It's an interesting thing to sort of bounce off of. It's an interesting thing to compare to. Why do I like this? What's interesting? I've been warning people that, I think 56 days, The Boys season 4 comes out. Goodbye, Leanna's brain to mouth filter in terms of language. I'm really going to have to watch that. Because Billy Butcher is one of my inner voices. But obviously that's something of a joke. It's just, yes, I can see a lot of myself in that character. Do I actually think I'm him? No. Carl Urban is far too cool. I can never be him. And this is the thing where I land, is that, I think Warhammer is really cool, and most Warhammer fans are really, really great people. There's just this small percentage of yahoos that make everybody look bad. And that's true of every fandom. And I really do think that, we say they've got their dicks in it, but it really is, they have their identity in it. And they need to proselytize. They need to evangelize this stuff to the point that they become an inquisition. And during the Xbox era, that was encouraged by game companies. They saw it as, street team marketing, earned media. And it's really come back to collectively bite us. And, it's at the point where, as much as most people agree the Fallout show's awesome, the New Vegas fans got cranky because they jumped the gun on something, but, pardon the pun, but whether somebody wants to play Fallout 76 or not, let them have their fun. If they like that, not my thing, but, I'm back on the original games, but let them have it. Just let them have it. Because if you want the things you like and make you happy to be okay and not have somebody shit on it, don't shit on other people's thing. Don't yuck other people's yum. Just don't. Don't tie your identity so intensely to not only this thing I like is the greatest thing in the world, but everything else is shit. Don't do that. You are telegraphing insecurity. You can have great conversation with people, asking them why they like things, why this is so meaningful to them. You can connect that way. You don't have to like the same things. That's why it's cool. You can share your thing, they can share their thing, and everybody comes out better for it. Instead of this stupid zero-sum game that's, a friendship of 10 years is gone for me now because somebody couldn't separate. And that sucks. And yeah, the industry did encourage too much of this, but there is some personal responsibility as well. There's collective responsibility. All I can do is go, no, I'm not going to live in this world. I'm not going to play this game. I'm not going to be that person. That's all we can really do. Help support this channel. Become a monthly patron. Patreon.com/LeannaK, or buy a one-time Leanna Care session for someone who can use it but can't afford it. Coffee.com/LeannaK. Almost making back from that disastrous couple of weeks. But thanks for watching. And thanks for your generosity and support this month. You guys have, it's really been a lifeline to me in a very tough month. So thanks for watching, and be well.